Welcome back, you're watching ET Insight. Water without doubt is the most precious resource on earth. But that's also the reason why regulating water is such a contentious issue. India has taken the first steps by setting up a water mission. But water laws rarely get implemented because of the multiple layers of bureaucracy involved in it. Lakshmi Subramanian tells us what are the policy changes that must be made to avert a water crisis.
2 दिन, जी हाँ 2 दिन हो गए हैं इन लोगों ने पानी की एक बूंद नहीं पी है। आइए जानते हैं ये ऐसी जानलेवा जिद क्यों कर रहे हैं। अरमान अली जी,
हम जिद नहीं कर रहे, हम तो सिर्फ अपना हक मांग रहे। ऊपर से करोड़ों रुपए की गंगा निकलती है, लेकिन नीचे आने तक गरीब के चुल्लू में एक खतरा पानी भी नहीं आता। और वो लोग क्या बोलते कि जो भी है जैसा भी है कबूल करो। हम क्यों कबूल करें?
Earlier this year, Mumbaikars echoed similar sentiments and took to the streets against the civic authority that was enforcing water cuts and water rationing. Never before had the city faced such unprecedented water shortage, and they felt that the government had to be blamed for it. That's largely true because India lacks a uniform, comprehensive water policy for the whole country. Water is a state subject, and so any directive from the centre is not enforceable at the state level. For instance, many states haven't set up a water regulatory authority or are yet to formulate bulk water pricing mechanisms which attract private sector participation. But the biggest grey area is the groundwater policy.
We do not have any major regulation on groundwater. The government does come out with regulations about the number of wells to be dug in a particular area or the depth at which the well should go. Okay. But again, there's a problem of governance.
In 1996, Supreme Court ordered regulation of groundwater through a setting up of a central groundwater authority. 14 years later, it's been complete failure. It has not achieved any regulation anywhere. And it cannot achieve. By definition, it cannot achieve. Because it's a local source. Central groundwater authority gets no idea who is taking how much water, where, for what purpose, how. It's only the local communities who can do that and manage it. So we need to have a whole rehauling, setting up of legal institutional setup to achieve such a regulation.
If the legal institutional setup needs a change, so do the economics of water. Currently, only 25% of the total population in urban India is metered, which means most of the water supplied by utilities is non-revenue water. That has other implications, water that inevitably gets wasted. But fixing the right price for water is not an easy task.
If there are sections of the society, affluent sections, who are getting say about 500 liters per capita per day, on the other hand there are far less affluent but equally needy sections of the society who are getting say less than 50 liters per capita per day. You can't charge both the same. So yes, regulated pricing certainly will help, but it can't be that you regulate prices across the board.
In this situation, some lessons could be taken from advanced countries.
If water is priced today and there's a way of metering the water supply like it is done in many advanced countries. This California water supply system is a typical example where the farmer has to put in a request 2 days in advance that okay, I want so much water at so and so date and such time, and he's given that water and then he's jolly well pays for it.
But the issues facing industrial users are very different. The demand for water is expected to increase from 40 billion cubic meters today to 250 billion cubic meters. This demand needs to be met mostly by recycling wastewater or desalination. But these processes come with a cost of around 24 rupees per kiloliter. Also, only 25% of the wastewater generated by around 900 cities in India is treated.
Wastewater treatment is the function of the local government. Now, do our local governments have enough money to pay the electricity bills for the wastewater treatment? Are we getting the right kind of technologies in place which are suitable to Indian climate and to the institutional environment? I mean, these are the questions. So it's not so much a question of regulation, but actually looking at the capacity of local institutions, of state government.
With the government's poor track record to regulate water, there has been some talk of privatization that could bring in efficiencies in the system.
people say that water is a right, and I say it's a need. And it's a commodity which should be sold at the right cost. Certainly, private sector can do far better management and more cost effectively than the public sector or the government. Only thing which is always a question mark, whether the private sector will make more profits, whether it will exploit the situation. First is you can have a regulator. Second is let the community participate.
But that is not acceptable to citizens groups and environmentalists, since they fear that the poor will be exploited.
There is not a single private company who can supply us water at affordable rates and take back the waste. The issue is not privatization. The issue is us learning to have a better management system and a payment system for water that we receive and for the waste that is taken back.
Privatization of water has not been a success in other parts of the world either. UK did come up with privatization in the 80s, but then they had to roll it back. So privatization definitely is not the way forward for our water crisis.
There are certain aspects of life that the private sector should not be encouraged to bring in their notions of management in. And I suspect water is one of them. You know, to run something as critical as water based on profit, I think is a very dangerous step.
I think water is still the responsibility of government. Like basic education, basic health, water is the responsibility. So the government retains the primary responsibility of finding the source and bringing it to the people. But there are several areas in which the private sector can definitely partner the government.
This can be done through PPPs or public-private partnerships in the water sector, where the private sector can support the government with investment and know-how, especially in operations and maintenance of systems, desalination and recycling.
We do not have the institutional mechanisms by which government can guarantee a stable implementation of these private-public partnerships. It has not yet happened. As a result of that, investments which can come from private equity, venture capitalists, is not yet sunk in. Okay, there is a lot of noise, but I don't quite see in ground realities.
While PPPs take off, the government needs to ramp up the work done by urban local bodies or municipalities who are responsible for provision of water supply and sanitation. As of now, there is little incentive for state water bodies to undertake cost-effective projects, since these are transferred to ULBs for operation. In some cases, even ULBs don't take charge of completed projects due to issues such as insufficient cost recovery and inadequate manpower. But those are structural inefficiencies that will take a longer time to get sorted out. A lot could be achieved by simply promoting the judicious use of water and by making rainwater harvesting compulsory. Else, in a few years, our taps will be left high and dry.
But that's all in this edition of ED Insight. We'll be back next week, but until then, don't forget to write in with your feedback and suggestions. Thanks so much for watching.